everyone, Ashley here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be turning some Halloween punches using my brand new Drippy Goo punch and the Scary Fence punch that I found on clearance at Michael's for $3.99 and $4.99. I'm going to be turning these into a winter card. I went to Michael's on Monday and I got those, and it's like, I don't really want to make a Halloween card since it's past Halloween. So I'm going to change them and make them into a winter card. So the first thing I will tell you is the pattern paper I'm going to be using is from the Cosmo Cricut 6x6 Wonderland pack. And I got this from Scrapbook. I don't believe they carry it anymore. I've had this now for about a year. So I'm going to be using that. And I'm also going to be using the Color Box pattern pack. And I don't really think this has a name. Or yes, it does. It's the Earth Tones. So just some really pretty, I'll just kind of show you there, really pretty papers. It reminded me of Christmas, and I got this from Walmart. So let me go ahead and give you the measurements for the card. The actual card base is going to be a 5x7. So it's cut at 7 by 10 and then just scored in half. And then I also cut a, what's this? 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, so just a 1/4 inch all around. And then I also cut a white sheet, and this is an 1/8 inch smaller all around. So that is 4 5/8 by, I'm not sure. So I'll post all the measurements. I can't think of it right now. But it's just an 1/8 inch smaller all around. So that's my card base. I also have some more scrap cardstock in craft and white. And I also have a piece of metallic red. And I also have a little piece of some acetate. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and work on my background. Okay, so I'm going to start with my card base first. So what I have here is this tiny little snowflake. You can kind of see it there. And this is from, and I don't have the box with me right now, but this is from Inkadinkadoo's Cute Holiday Favorites. And I got that as well from Scrapbook. But I just picked the little tiny snowflake. And I'm going to use some Versamark. I just happen to have the Dazzle, but whatever you have is fine. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use some opaque white embossing powder. So I'm just going to stamp these really randomly across this card here. And I'm not really going to go any further than about an inch, inch and a half at the bottom, because I'm actually going to be covering that up with more cardstock, so I'm not really concerned about that. And my Versamark is drying out, so it's really hard for me to see where I'm stamping these. Okay, so I'm just going to finish with this last one here. And I just realized I really need a new Versamark pad. Okay, so I got all that done, and now I'm going to take my embossing tray, okay, and place my cardstock in it. And I'm just going to go ahead and dump some embossing powder over this. Okay, so you can kind of see them. There you go, a little bit. It's okay if you have a little bit of embossing powder stuck to it, because it actually adds that snowy effect. So I wasn't too careful to get everything off, but I did, if I had like a piece that was actually sticking in a clump, I did try to get that off. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take my heat gun and just set this real quick. Okay, so I've finished embossing my snowflakes, and there you go, you can kind of see them a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is ink this paper up. So I'm going to be using some Tim Holtz Distress Inks. I've got Tumbled Glass, Broken China, and Faded Jeans. And I'm going to start off with my lightest color, which is Tumbled Glass. And let me move these out of the way. And I'm just going to be using the Rangers ink applicator. And I just have a blue pad on here. I use all of my blues with this. So I'm just going to use this. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Tumbled Glass. And you want to start off the page and work your way on. And I'm actually not really good at this. I normally get it very splotchy, so I'm going to try not to do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put tumbled glass all over this. Okay, so just like that, so that's all done. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and take, I put baby wipes out on my desk at night and get them all dried out, and this is what I use to buff off the ink off of my embossing. So I'm just going to take this and rub this over the snowflakes to remove any excess ink. And I just find that works the best as opposed to a wet wipe, because it will end up taking some of the ink off. So there's what you got. Okay, I do have that bend, but that's okay once we glue it down. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this real quick with my heat gun to just dry out some of that ink. Okay, so now that my piece is dried, I'm just going to move this off to the side real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and start working on some snowbanks. So I've got 2 pieces of cardstock here, and this measures 2.5 inches. I think it's about 8.5. It doesn't matter what size as long as it's long enough to fit the front of the card. And then this one is 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and grab my ruler, and I'm just going to mark the center of this paper with a pencil. So let's see, I think it's 8.5. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a pencil and mark it at 4.25. Do the same with this one. Okay, so now that I have the centers marked, and you probably can't see that, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of draw a mound-like shape. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's my shapes right there. I don't know if you can even see them. Sort of, I just rough sketched it to kind of make little snowbanks. So now what I'm going to do is grab a pair of scissors. I want my paper scissors here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so I have that inked now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and lay that down and just see what it looks like. Place that on top, and that is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this piece down to the back here. And I didn't take the time to erase the pencil because it's the back of the card anyway. This doesn't have to be perfect here because I'm going to be trimming it up anyway. Okay, just like so. So now I'm going to grab my piece of cardstock that I inked with the snowflakes earlier, and I'm just going to put this down just to kind of get an idea of where I want it. And I think I like that, and that's going to be behind my house, so I'm not really worried about that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and move this off to the side as well. Now again, I have another piece of scrap cardstock here, and this is the craft color. And I'm going to go ahead and use this Scary Fence punch, and this is by Martha Stewart. And I'm just going to go ahead and punch a border of this fence. Okay, so I've just made it long enough to fit the front of my card, and I'm just going to go ahead and take my paper trimmer, and I'm going to bring that in and go ahead and just trim the fence down so that it'll fit the front of my card. Okay, so I have my little fence here, and to make this more wintry feeling, I know you can barely even see it here, but just to give this more of a winter feel, let me go ahead and move my little snow mound in so you can see this. Just like where the fence is kind of cracked and everything, I'm going to take some Tulip Puffy Dimensional Fabric Paint, and what I'm going to do is I'm just barely going to touch a little bit of paint into these little areas. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way so I don't get that messed up. And I don't want much, I just want to lightly kind of hit it because this stuff puffs up really amazingly. I'm not going to do too much, and I'm going to kind of reserve the area where the house would be because that you'll be able to see through the window, and I don't really want the paint back there. So I don't know if you can see this, but I'm being super messy and just kind of putting it everywhere on this fence. Okay? Okay, so it's all over the fence now, and what I'm going to do is just hit this with my heat gun. And that is going to puff up and look just like snow. Okay, so there you go, and it just adds this really cool kind of dimension to it. I love that stuff. I actually learned that idea from Darlene, who is Darlene003. She uses that in a lot of her winter videos, and I just love the look of it. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach my fence behind my snow dome here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some adhesive. And I still have not trimmed this down yet because I want to get the fence perfect because I don't know like what the best part is yet. So I want to hide the little dip behind the house because that went down a little bit too low. So I don't want too much of the extra cardstock showing. Okay, and what I did was kind of bend it, and now what I'm going to do is just trim it back here just a few times, and then just kind of overlap the pieces so it kind of works with the little bit of a curve. There you go. So I just kind of curved it down the snow, and that's okay because my house is going to cover that up. So now I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to the entire back, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to my piece of cardstock. Okay, so that is perfect. I've got that all trimmed up now. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and attach this to my layer and my base for my card here. Okay, so I have that attached down, and now I'm just going to go ahead and move this aside. And we're going to start working on the house, which is actually my favorite part. Okay, now, so to work on the house, I've cut from the Handyman Cricut cartridge. This is the Cricut Light cartridge that I picked up from Walmart. I mentioned in a haul a while ago. And I just cut the homeowner's house here. Really cute little house. I did the regular shift in brown cardstock. I did the layer in the brown cardstock from Cosmos Cricut Wonderland 8x8 pad, and then I did the layer shift in the green from the Color Box paper pad. Now with this cut, oh, and I also cut it at 1.5 inches. I know that sounds extremely small, but I was actually kind of, it was kind of hard to believe at how small you had to cut this to get it a nice size. So 1.5 inches. Okay, so the one thing that I am going to do to this real quick is I'm just going to cut off this little piece here. It's the shadow where it says homeowners, but because I'm not going to be putting that on, I'm just going to go ahead and take a pair of scissors and cut that straight off. Okay, and I'll just do that to both sides. Perfect. Just remove that so it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the little house together. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run some ATG. Okay, so I have a scrap piece of brown cardstock, and I want to make a little roof, not a roof, a little chimney for my house here. So I'm going to cut this down to 3/4 of an inch. And it doesn't really matter, I'll just hide it behind the house. So I'm just going to go at 2 inches. Okay, and I'm just going to take this little piece here, and I'm just going to attach it right there to the back of my house just to give it a little chimney. pretty much all of the other houses on the Cricut cartridge did have chimneys, and this was the only one that didn't. So I'm just going to go ahead, add some ATG, and add that right there. So now it's got a little chimney. And then I'm going to take a white gel pen, and I'm actually using a Pentel Sunburst medium gel pen. I found these on clearance at Target for $1.48, and this is a really nice gel pen, so I suggest you go and try to find these because they're really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a faux stitch around the house. Okay, just like that. So I've got my white gel pen. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and decorate this up. First though, let me go ahead and actually add my window. So to add my window, I've just got some acetate here. And I just need a piece big enough to attach behind there. And I'm just going to go ahead and add, I'm just going to go ahead and add some ATG. You could add whatever you wanted. This will be fine just as long as the glue can't be seen through. Line that up, and that's perfect. So now I have a little window that actually gives a little shine. Okay, so let's see, I think I'm done with that. No, got a little more decorating to do on that. Okay, so I've got some scratch white cardstock over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Drippy Goo Punch, and this is what is going to become my icicles. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch this out. Okay, so I just went ahead and punched both sides of a scrap piece and then that little piece right there. And I'm going to grab my cutter here, and I'm just going to line up. Go ahead and do it on this side. I'm just going to line this up so that it cuts just barely any of the excess paper. Okay, just like so. You want a really thin border on it. So let me go ahead and do it to both of these sides as well. Okay, so I have my pieces cut out now, and what I'm going to do is just get a rough idea of what I want where. And this is just going to decorate and look like snow has fallen all around the house. So I'm just going to add that like right there. Go ahead and trim it. And I'm not sure, I kind of want to put it here, but it would be in the way of the door, but it still looks really good, so I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And just trim it there. And right there. Okay, so I'll add that under the window. And I'm also going to add it around the top of my house, the roof. Okay, so I've attached all of my snow, and I just, I had it longer, and I just flipped it over and trimmed off wherever it was over too far. So I've got all my snow on there, and I love how the Drippy Goo just looks like ice crystals or something hanging off the roof. It's really cool. So now that this is done, I've got one more thing to add to this, and then we'll finish decorating the card. Okay, so I have my little teeny bow here, and this I am just going to attach right in between the window, and I'm just going to use some glossy accents to do this. Just a little drop. Okay, just like so. And it does kind of cover up the bottom windows, but I'm okay with that. It's super cute, and I just love it. So that's that. And I'm going to go ahead and move that off to the side. And I'm going to start working on the front of the card again. Okay, so here's the card. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting on here. So what I'm using is I'm going to be using the Hero Arts clear stamps. And this is the Everyday Sayings, and I just really love this. I picked this up when I went to Michael's on Monday, and I got a really good deal on it, and I just love how it has all of the sayings and everything. So I'm going to be using the Sending Warm Fuzzies, and I've already got that mounted on my stamp block here. And I'm using Colorbox charcoal ink here. I'm just going to go ahead and put that back there. Or actually, I'll move it. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp this right down here at the bottom. Okay? Perfect. I love chalk ink. You always get a perfect image with it. So that's my card base. And now I'm going to take my little house, and my house is going to go right there. And now I've just got one more thing to do. So I go ahead and move that to the side. I have that piece of metallic cardstock. I love this. It's kind of a pink color, but it is red. Super pretty. And I'm just going to use this tiny hearts punch that I got from Michael's Dollar Aisle. And I just want to punch out 3 hearts. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to move those off to the side here for a second. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and attach my house down with some dimensionals. And I've got the backing off. I'm going to go ahead and place this right there. Okay, just like so. And I am loving this card. Super, super cute. And now I'm just going to go ahead and take, let's see, I think I'll use some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. And I'm just going to add 3 little dots coming out of the chimney. Okay. And then I've got my quick stick here that I'm just going to go ahead and use to attach my little hearts. Okay, so there's my hearts put on, and now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take my pearls, and I'm going to use the white ones. And these are like super small. I picked these up from Michael's. And I'm not going to add them to every single snowflake. I'm just going to add them to 3 snowflakes over here and 3 snowflakes over here. Okay, so to finish my card off, which I have zoomed in now so you can kind of see it a little bit better, I'm going to go ahead and finish it off with glitter. Because what is a winter or Christmas card without glitter? So I've got some Ranger Stickles and Stardust. And I'm going to go ahead and put this all over any of the snow on the house, and I'm also just going to line the hills with it. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the tip off. Okay, and there's your card. Complete with glitter. I love the look that the glitter adds to this card. I hope you can kind of see it sparkling. Okay, so let me go ahead and zoom out. Okay, so there's the finished card. I know it was a lot of work. There's a lot of components to this card, but I think it is so well worth it. It's not one that you would want to mass produce for Christmas or anything, but it's just really cute, and I love the way it turns out. So I hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a great day and happy crafting. Bye!